Here on the West Coast, we have been hammered by heavy wind and rain, trees falling all over the place. But why is it some trees fail? Why is it some branches fail? We're talking with certified arborist Jackie Cordes. Jackie, why is that? Why do you see some trees that are always in the news and others that aren't? For instance, the trees that I've seen in the news over the last few days have been mostly redwoods and eucalyptus.
Yes, the redwoods are kind of a surprise, but the redwoods really are a coastal tree that we've kind of transplanted here, which is fine, but they just are getting a little bit stressed. We've had drought the last, within 10 years, we've been in drought for almost 6 of the last 10 years. So the trees are a bit stressed. When the storm comes and hits a stressed tree, you will find that it will snap right in half. The eucalyptuses usually have not been pruned properly during their life. The first 5 years of a tree's life are really, like children, the time that you can transform and provide the direction that you want your tree to go in. If you've not cared for a tree, if you've not pruned it for a while, that usually is the cause of limb failure, is maybe some rot or just the not caring for it throughout its life. So they will suck up a lot of water right now because they're in soaking water. The limbs get heavy, and when those winds hit, you will get failure.
And of course, those trees that keep their leaves on throughout the year are most effective by that sail effect of a heavy wind that can cause problems. But there's a lot of things I think people can look at their own trees and see if they're ripe for problems during a windstorm, no matter where you live. And one of those things to look for is what's called codominant leaders.
Yes, again, those codominant leaders are cared for in the first. When you plant them, you should have one single stem, nice and strong, usually the one that's going very, very straight. You never want to cut or top that, and you allow that to go. And then from that nice, strong central leader, you want your branches to go around almost like a circular staircase is the way I imagine a well-structured tree. Those will stand very firm. They won't fail because of you're pruning them in those first 5 years in particular, but also taking out any dead, dying, or crossing limbs also causes some hazard.
The other picture of trees we've been seeing in the news lately are entire trees that have tumbled over. Their entire root structure has been exposed. And that strikes me as you better check that soil and make sure it hasn't moved, because if you go out and look at your tree and the soil around it looks like it's been moving, that's the time to call in an arborist.
Absolutely, yes. Right at the base of your tree, you really should. If you've got a big tree that may have some long, lanky limbs that you might think, has potential of dropping, do look at the soil. You will see bulges. And if it's starting to lean at all, you'll see the bulge coming up from that far side, the one that it's leaning away from. Yes, you want to move things that are underneath that, especially children, and get an arborist out. The chances that you need some pretty heavy pruning are great, but have an arborist come out to your house.
You made a very good point about leaning trees. Leaning trees are always at risk of falling. And one little trick any homeowner can do to determine if a tree is leaning is take regular pictures of the main trunk of the tree, but in that frame of the picture include something that is straight up and down, like a wall, a fence, side of a house, and take periodic pictures of it, like every 3 or 4 months, to notice if there is more of a lean to the tree. If you start seeing more of a lean, call in an arborist.
Absolutely. You've really nailed it there. And it's just observing. If we can all just observe those trees that are especially the large ones that you want to keep a good eye on those.
In today's show notes, I'll have a link to more information about trees and storms and what you can do at the house to determine if the trees in your yard will survive the next windstorm. Jackie Cordes, certified arborist. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.